Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 20th of July, 2021, to talk about everything that went down tonight on NXT. I thought tonight's NXT was a good show. I wouldn't say it was great by any means. I enjoyed the majority of the show. There wasn't anything, thinking back, there wasn't anything that I could say, oh, I hated that. I thought that was dumb. I didn't like that at all. There's really nothing that I could say I hated, so that's a good thing. I thought overall the show was good, not great. And yeah, as far as people asking, I don't have any info on Xia Li, and I'm not going to make any assumptions. All we know is the end of the match, she took that elbow from Raquel Gonzalez, and then the referee and the two doctors checked on her for a while. And then they went straight to the finish. At least it seems like they went straight to the finish. So I don't know if there was an audible called. I don't know what was taken out and what was changed. And I don't even know if Xia Li is actually injured or not. Maybe she just had the wind knocked out of her. I don't know. We don't know. We'll find out here soon, hopefully. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel here on Twitch one of two different ways. You can subscribe either with a tiered subscription or for free with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and we'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways. If you're watching in the live chat, you can help us out with a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chats do get read live on the air. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel as a channel member by hitting that join button down below next to where it says subscribe. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, the most direct way to support us is by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But with that, we've got NXT here tonight, and the show began with a cool recap video showing off exactly what happened with Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross, and we got the song back. The end is near. The old Armageddon theme, and WWE's used this theme song multiple times. It's a song for video packages and pay-per-view themes and whatnot. But it's just, I hear that theme song. I hear that song. I don't know why I keep saying theme song, but I hear that song. The end is near. And I'm just like, ooh, that transports me back to a very different time. But with that, Samoa Joe then comes straight down to the ring as the show cuts to the CWC, and he's pissed. And this isn't like the normal Samoa Joe's going to come down here and cut his promo. Young champion, Karrion Kross. You know, sometimes he has too much dialect in his voice. But no, this was just a, Kross, where are you? I'm pissed off. I'm like, oh, this is a different kind of Samoa Joe. This is I'm not just out here cutting a promo. I'm a pissed off man, and I'm going to let you know it. And that was good. So he's in here in the ring yelling stuff. He's like, tick tock, tick tock. Look who's come to smash your clock. And out comes General Manager William Regal. And he's like, this is not what I brought you here for. And Joe's like, well, I was provoked. And if I'm provoked, it's fair game. And Regal goes, no. Here's the thing. Last week, you jumped in the ring as a referee, as referee Samoa Joe, not official Samoa Joe. And Joe goes, no, that's bullshit. He's like, I was provoked, and stuff's going to happen. And Regal's like, well, just promise me that you do it in a nice manner or something like that. He says that, like, do it well, or Don't do it in chaos or something like that. And Joe's just like, well, I can promise you is that things won't get out of control. They got more out of control than anybody expected. Because the way this show went off the air, I did not expect that one bit. Joe briefly, I think, mentioned Karrion Kross being on Raw last night, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought I heard something about him saying, well, he doesn't even care about this place or something, or he's going somewhere else. I don't remember exactly, but he said something that made me think that it was a slight jab at, oh, he's been called up. And as we'll talk about in a little bit, Kross even mentions, I can go anywhere I want because I'm the NXT champion. So basically, the whole, I was on Raw last night because I could be anywhere I want. I'm a champion, and it doesn't stop me from doing anything. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So again, Regal told Joe, Kross isn't here yet. I can confirm he's on his way to the building. And Joe basically ends it by saying, tonight, somebody is going to sleep. But it wasn't. It was not who we expected. We got a pre-tape video for Xia Li talking about her upcoming title match. That's right. Brian Lazaro says he was taking a field trip. That's right. Xia Li called the title bout the biggest match of her life, which to this point it is so far. Lee warned champion Raquel Gonzalez that she's going to do to her what she did to Mercedes Martinez. What? So, legit knock her out? Because that's what you did to Mercedes Martinez. Next up, we had a tag team match. It was Bobby Fish and Kushida, the Cruiserweight Champion, against Diamond Mine, Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust. They had Hideki Suzuki and Malcolm Bivens at ringside. I thought this was a good match. I thought all four guys worked very well together. And Tyler Rust, he's still greenish, but not bad. Not in a bad way. And he's in here, and he's in here working with four guys that are, or three other guys that are just pros. So Fish and Kushida attacked early before the bell even rang. The two baby faces cleaned house before the show went to commercial break. The match was joined in progress after the break. Fish was working over Strong as the show came back from break, and the babyfaces continued to maintain the advantage. Strong was eventually cut off by Kushida with a backbreaker. No, Strong cut off Kushida with a backbreaker. Rust then soon took over, and he worked on Kushida for a bit before Bobby Fish got the hot tag and knocked out Thrust. Strong distracted Fish, allowing Rust to strike from behind. Fish fell out of the ring, and Strong suplexed Fish on the apron. Fish was prone on the floor, selling as the show cut to commercial. Thank you, Greg Bison, for the super sticker. Really do appreciate that. So, coming back from the second break, and the heels are in control, targeting Bobby Fish. They work him over until Kushida got the hot tag. Kushida ran wild, leading to a near fall. Rust stopped a rally by cutting off Kushida. They went to trade strikes, and Rust struck with a spinning neck breaker. Tumbled to the floor after a pinning attempt when Fish went after Strong. Kushida hit a flying elbow off the top rope to target the arm of Rust. Kushida followed this up by punting the arm. Rust then tried a counter, but as we got down to the finish, Kushida ended up countering with the flying body scissors. He transitioned that into a hoverboard lock, and Rust had to tap out. I think it's fine that they lost. I would have liked to see Diamond Mine win here, to have that momentum. They're the new group. They're supposed to be these badass shoot wrestlers, but if they can't even beat, and no offense, Bobby Fish and Kushida, it's like their first big match as a team, they should have won. They really should have, to establish, hey, these guys are no joke. They're a team that's going to come out here and wreck shop, even against, a champion. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we'll see where this goes. It didn't further anything, I don't think. So that's the one thing that's the main thing I didn't like. It's just like, oh, it's over now. Like, it didn't further anything. No one attacked anybody afterwards. Nothing set up anything going forwards. It was just meh. $2 million champion LA Knight and his butler Cameron Grimes had arrived at the building. They're in a sports car with the top down, and Grimes is driving since he's the butler. They looked more like the odd couple than rivals. Knight said that they could have arrived sooner, but Grimes had to listen to the Let me reread this. Knight said that they could have arrived sooner if Grimes had not listened to the GPS. Basically, I guess the GPS took him the wrong way. I don't know. Knight then ordered Grimes to grab his bags, and for some reason he had so many bags. Like, why the fuck do you need this many bags? You see guys arrive and they've got like one bag, maybe two at most, like 4 bags. And Grimes is having trouble carrying them all until Drake Maverick would walk up and try to offer some help. Grimes said that he would do it alone, but Maverick said, no, I insist. And Knight's basically just like, hey, he's the butler, not you. Get lost, bucko. And Maverick said that he wasn't going anywhere, and they set up a match between Maverick and Knight later on. Okay, cool, whatever. They announced that NXT TakeOver 36 will be coming to us on Sunday, August 22nd, the night after SummerSlam. Yes, you heard that right. Night after SummerSlam. A vignette video hyped up Odyssey Jones, which basically said, hey, he's winning this first round match in the tournament. And Samoa Joe paced back and forth at the front door waiting for Karrion Kross. Next up, we had Frankie Monet with Jessica Maya and eventually Robert Stone against JC Jane. I think that's her name, JC Jane. Robert Stone eventually came down, like I said, after the match started. Monet was in the ring and dashed a hope spot from Jane. Monet punished Jane and grounded her. Meanwhile, all of a sudden we hear, hey, it's Mandy Rose. And she's sitting on the announce desk. She's watching the match. I don't know what this is all about. I guess it's her and Frankie Monet. So Monet was distracted and Rose got offense. And Rose, she was distracted by Rose and Jane got offense. And Jane got a lot more offense than I expected. Like a lot of offense on Frankie here. Jane got a 2 count after a neck breaker. Monet then hulked up and stopped Jane in her tracks. Monet then executed a chicken wing face buster. He then hit the glam slam and picked up the victory. Robert Stone was trying to win over Monet here, but she wanted nothing to do with him. And then they go, whoa, what happened to Mandy Rose? She just disappeared. Kyle O'Reilly had some beef with Austin Theory leading to a match. They set this up earlier on social media. Kyle O'Reilly versus Austin Theory. Cool. Wade Barrett sat down with Bronson Reed. Barrett said that asked Reed about losing the North American Championship. Reed said that he's ready to step up and move forward. Barrett questioned whether facing Adam Cole is wise. Reed replied by stating that Cole was the best. So why not fight the best to prove you're the best? Excuse me. Why not fight the best to prove you're the best? And that match will be taking place next week on Tuesday, but not on USA. It's going to be on Sci-Fi. They've been moved because of the Olympics. And speaking of Kyle O'Reilly and Austin Theory, that match was next. Pretty good match here. They grappled early on and soon began throwing strikes. There was some chain wrestling as they went back and forth. Theory started to talk trash after grounding O'Reilly. The match went through a commercial break with Theory working over O'Reilly. When we came back, O'Reilly was fighting back, and Theory dashed a hope spot. Not long though, O'Reilly would again take the momentum and apply a heel hook. Theory managed to make it to the ropes barely. Theory hit a rolling fisherman suplex for a 2. Come back by O'Reilly with a flurry of offense. Theory then cut him off and delivered a blue thunder bomb for a 2.5. A Ushigoroshi by Theory got him a near fall. Theory then went to use the ring steps, but O'Reilly snapped, kind of like Ken Shamrock used to do back in the day. O'Reilly then hulked up big time and went, as some might say, nuclear on Austin Theory. Kicks and strikes and more kicks and Kawada kicks and more strikes. And all of a sudden he just knocked out O'Reilly. O'Reilly knocked out Theory. O'Reilly then came off the top rope with the bombs away knee drop. He then grabbed the leg, heel hook, and picked up the victory as Austin Theory taps out. But For some reason, O'Reilly refused to break the hold until the ref finally got him to pull it off. So that was the weird little call there right there. A little move. It was just like, hey, he's the babyface, but he was so pissed off that he didn't want to break the hold. Women's champion Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai cut a promo. They were interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell. They just said basically just said Raquel's going to retain. We then had Legado del Fantasma with a Mariachi Madness. Not much musical here, though. Escobar flanked in the ring by Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. And I guess what was supposed to happen was they were supposed to celebrate, I don't know what, because they haven't done anything successful in a while, with a mariachi band. Instead, Escobar told the musicians, leave, I don't need you after all. Fans weren't worth it, according to Escobar. He said, these people here, they're not worth hearing your music. He said that the stable would not be doing the hit row thing and playing music, and they won't vomit a few lines while embarrassing themselves. Escobar said that he was the, quote, true campeón. Escobar warned Hit Row that he was coming for that North American Championship, which is currently held by Isaiah Swerve Scott. Hit Row then interrupted, and they confronted Fantasma. Hit Row took turns cutting promos on Legado del Fantasma, and if this shit wasn't the most stereotyping, you had Legado del Fantasma as the Hispanics. They got their mariachi band. That's how they celebrate this and that. And then you've got Hit Row, the rappers. And it's like, oh, because they're, black, they got to go out there and they got to, how do you phrase it? They got to go out there and cut, how do you say it? Freestyle on them. Because they weren't just like cutting a promo on Legado del Fantasma. They were like spitting lines in a rap battle kind of thing, what they were trying to do. It was very weird. Because you had Legado del Fantasma out there with the mariachi band. And then you had Hit Row out there doing the whole freestyle rap thing on them or whatever. It was weird. Very weird. Scott said that he's going to make Santos his bitch. Escobar cursed in Spanish at Scott, and Escobar vowed to take the title back to Mexico. Hit Row then approached the ring in Legado del Fantasma. They asked if they wanted to smoke. The two stables got face to face, and Hit Row dispatched the henchman. As Scott squared off with Escobar, he got out of the ring. As they got into a brawl, B-Fab took a guitar from him, and then she gave it to Swerve. Told Swerve, what to do with it. He then hit Raul Mendoza over the back with it. This was all right. I mean, I was already hyped up for this because I know there's 6 guys that are going to go out there and have a great match once they do the 6-man and then eventually the title match and all that. So it's guys that are going to go out there and just have great matches together. I think this is an A+ in my book. I thought it was a little bad with the whole stereotype thing. But in the long run, I think this is going to do very well once they have the match or matches. So the way we're in the back bickering, and like Candice was saying, "Oh, you didn't beat Kross last week, Johnny, and we lost the women's tag titles." And Austin, why do you keep picking fights with people you can't beat? And then you've got Indy, and she's like, "Hey, why do you keep picking on Austin and talking down to him and this and that? If he wants to kiss Dexter, let him kiss Dexter." And then she's like, and Johnny goes, "Oh, it's all about Dexter. And finally, Austin Theory's just looking at him going, and he grabs his vest and he looks at them all again, still arguing, and just walks off. And he's just like, head down in shame. And I go, oh, that's him leaving the way to go to the main roster. Vince liked him last year, wanted him on the main. He's getting him again. So Samoa Joe is still waiting for Karrion Kross to arrive. Seems like the champ is very late. Regal costing Joe, keep things peaceful. And here's my question. There's a call time when everyone's supposed to be at the building, right? Right? Well, why do you always see people just show up late? whenever they want. There's no repercussions to it, especially the champs, especially the heels. Like, we need to start getting some repercussions on if you show up late, especially after the show's already started. Just saying. Next up, we had first round matchup in the Breakout tournament. It was Odyssey Jones against Andre Chase. And basically, we knew who was winning this match before it even started because they did a vignette about Odyssey Jones. And I go, well, they ain't going to have a video package about him if he ain't winning. So Jones was very much pushed here hard, even on commentary. Jones mowed down Chase early on, and Jones used a modified boss man slam to score the victory. Not long match at all. I think Chase hit a moonsault at one point for a 2, and that was about it. Not much happened in this match. Kept it short. Next up, Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan cut a promo saying that, well, Pete Dunne's been calling out people saying that I'm the most technical guy here in NXT, and no one's been able to prove me wrong. But somebody came to us last week. That's Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. So we want you guys next week in a tag team match. And the match was officially made. So next week, it will be Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan against Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. They even slightly threw in the reference of, hey, we're on Sci-Fi next week. Next up, we had the $1 Million Man, LA Knight, with his butler, Cameron Grimes, which they still haven't said how long he's got to be the butler for. Regardless, he took on Drake Maverick. So Knight was preoccupied by his butler early on. Knight wanted Grimes throughout the match to hold the $1 Million title. Although Knight manhandled Maverick, Knight again shifted his focus to Grimes. Knight at one point was showing Grimes how high Knight wanted the belt held over his head. Maverick, with a dropkick, sent Knight headfirst into the belt. Maverick then proceeded to roll up LA Knight and pick up the victory. As soon as the match ends, LA Knight jumps Drake Maverick, and Knight assaults him. Grimes gets in the ring and throws LA Knight off of him. He's like, hey, we don't need to do this. And Knight goes, no, we don't. You do. As my butler, you go hit him. And Grimes is like, no, I'm not doing that. He goes to leave, so Knight grabs him and throws him. Knight yells at Grimes to hit Maverick, and Knight held Maverick up for him. Grimes was very upset with himself, but he did it because he's supposed to. He glared right at Knight in disgust, though. And again, how long does he have to be the butler? And I know being a butler means that you also hit people for your boss, I guess you call him. Samoa Joe saw what he thought was Karrion Kross's car, which it was, entering outside the building. He rushes the car, opens the door, and grabs somebody out of it, yelling, Kross, I got you, Kross, but it wasn't Kross. There was somebody else who said, Kross is here, he's inside the building, he asked me to come park his car for him. And Joe took off in a heap of flames. Again, we got some announcements for next week. Adam Cole versus Bronson Reed. Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Also, a breakout tournament match. Carmelo Hayes versus Josh Briggs. Again, Josh Briggs is the one that I said we need to watch in this tournament. Former Evolve champion. Really good wrestler. So next up, we had the NXT Women's Championship match. Raquel Gonzalez against Xia Li. Gonzalez powered out of Li's early attacks. Xia Li really tried to use her strength and wittiness, her agility early on. Li was posted like a lawn dart, though, by Gonzalez, and Gonzalez starting to look dominant. Li sidestepped the charge, and Gonzalez booted her right into the post. Li then several times rammed her leg into the post, and Li sent Gonzalez crashing into the ring steps. The show then cut to commercial break with Li working over the champ. As we came back, Li had applied a half crab, targeting the injured leg. Gonzalez dug in, and she powered out of the hold. Gonzalez sold her leg here, but was still able to fight back with some power moves before Li hit more kicks, strikes, and a spin kick netted her a 2. Gonzalez then came back with a senton for a near fall. The match then paused briefly here. So, Xia Li's knocked down. Raquel climbs up to the middle rope. She then does, I guess, the Otis spot, where jumps off, extends her body, and tries to land an elbow. Well, she came down crashing hard on Xia Li. I don't know exactly what happened. Hopefully it was just the wind knocked out of her. But Xia Li rolls to the apron. Referee runs over to check on her. She backs away Dakota and Raquel. 2 doctors come to check on Xia Li. And she's just like, can't barely breathe and this and that and whatnot. And so they're checking on her. And, okay, Raquel, if this wasn't planned, Raquel played this off really well. Where she's just like, just get up. Just get up. And eventually the doctor's like, okay, this is what we need to do. They let her get up. They make sure she can stand. And when she can, they basically, I think, called an audible, went to the finish. Raquel hit her with the move and just took her out. So I don't know, again, if she was really injured, but soon as they knew, like, you can tell that they got her to stand up and they like waited a second to make sure she was good on her feet, and they went straight to that finish with the powerbomb. Straight to that finish. So hopefully she's okay. Again, we haven't heard anything. And we'll see if we do find anything out. Let me see if anyone's reported anything on this. Let's go 2 seconds. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. I'm not seeing anything here if she's hurt or not. No one's reported anything that I can find. And I haven't heard. I asked immediately, but I haven't heard anything back. So we'll see. If anything does happen, if we find out anything, we will report it on our website, pwunlimited.co, and the PW Unlimited YouTube channel. But that wasn't all for the show, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as that match was over, out came Samoa Joe, called out Karrion Kross, said, come out and play. And he's yelling. And he said, where are you, my young champion? Joe vowed that there would be a reckoning. And Joe wanted to kick Kross's ass. Kross would then appear on the video. Basically, he said, with this, I run this place. I do what I want. This is my world now. There's a new beginning. And Kross went on to say that this is his way of the future. And not only is he the champion, not only does he run this place, but he does whatever he wants. Kross held up the NXT Championship belt and said it means, basically whatever he said. It means he can do whatever he wants. He then pans the camera down, and you see Regal laid out on the floor. They're in the parking lot. We're right outside the door. And he's just basically like, see, I can do what I want. And Joe jumps out of the ring, runs to the back. We still see that camera down in Regal's face. And Karrion Kross jumps in his car and leaves as Samoa Joe barely makes it to him. Just in the nick of not time, if that's a thing. He's just a smidge late. Joe then screams out in anger as the show fades to black. I thought this was a tremendous way to end the show, where it's like, I'm Karrion Kross, I'm the NXT champion, and I don't give a fuck who's in power, who's the general manager, who's the enforcer, because I run this bitch, basically. And interesting enough, didn't have Scarlett with him. Did not see Scarlett tonight. But I loved the end. And here's my only one thing that I hope doesn't happen. That whatever this Samoa Joe Karrion Kross thing is, I hope they don't rush it because Kross is now on Raw. I hope they don't rush it. Because this, if played out properly, could be tremendous. I mean, just by the way they've already done things, this could be great. This could be great. I want to thank you to Jack Dawson for the super sticker donation. Really do appreciate that. But with that, that was NXT. I thought it was a good show. Not great or anything, but it had an amazing, great, tremendous finish to the show. I'll say that. But the rest of the show was solid. Good show. But with that, now I want to know what you guys thought. We got the poll here. Also, remember, you can text in 510-906 510-906-1341. Again, the number is 510-906-1341 as far as the Twitch poll does go. 50% of you did not like the show. Wow. And then 25 and 25 thought it was all right and liked it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 65% of you liked tonight's NXT. 27% thought it was just all right, and 8% did not like it. With that, we have a couple text messages here. This person says, with Karrion Kross making his Raw debut, does that imply he's being... Yes, that does imply that he's been called up to the main roster. This text message says, okay, Hit Row is rubbing off on me. At first, I despised them, but I forgot how much I don't like Santos Escobar. I'm so happy someone stood up to Legado Del Fantasma. And a question, what do you think of Odyssey Jones? I think Odyssey Jones is good. I really like him. I think if used properly, like a Mark Henry type guy, he can really have a long career as a big man in WWE. He's somebody that I think that they will latch onto and use very well, especially if he's used like a Mark Henry or I don't know, because I've seen people try to compare him to Keith Lee because of his size. I know he's strong. I've been told that he's strong. Not Mark Henry strong, but close. But I've seen people go, oh, he's the same size as Keith Lee. He could be pretty good. But I don't know if he's agile and quick and can do the flips like Keith Lee is the thing. Says, do you think WWE 2K22 comes out in August as it's presenting SummerSlam? No. If it was coming out in August, if 2K22 was coming out next month, we would have so much more info on it. We would have proper, what's it called? Trailers and stuff ready. No. I think October probably like normal. It says, have you heard anything about David Hart Smith regarding plans for his return? Harry Smith, they say he's on SmackDown. He cut a promo on social media with WWE last week saying it's great to be back. And apparently he signed back in March. And they kept it a secret ever since. It says, you think Frankie Monet should be managed by Jessica Mea? So I think that's the whole thing. She's got Jessica Mea with her. Robert Stone doesn't want to be alone. Aaliyah's already left. So he needs to try and keep latched on to Jesse, who is now with Frankie. So he's got to try and impress Frankie. He doesn't want to just get left to the wayside and be all alone. Or says, who do you think will beat Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship? Frankie Monet. I say you build up her and she can take that title. Not for a while, though. Give us some time. Any update on Randy Orton? Is he coming back? I haven't heard anything. Or says, do you see WWE moving its big 4 pay-per-views to Saturdays and do NXT takeovers on the following? No. The only reason SummerSlam's on a Saturday is because they couldn't get the building for Sunday. That's why they waited so long to announce it. They wanted the show on the Sunday. If it was up to WWE, SummerSlam would be Sunday, August 22nd. But they couldn't get the building for the 22nd, so they had to compromise for the 21st, the Saturday. So it's a one-time thing. Where it says, what do you think the end goal for Grimes and Knight? I think it's Grimes winning the $1 million championship. How long do you think it lasts, Grimes being the butler? I don't know. Hopefully it only lasts till August 22nd, and they do another title match at TakeOver where Grimes wins the belt. That's what I would assume. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching here on YouTube, we will be back live, or Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching on either, we will be back live this coming Wednesday, tomorrow night, for AEW Dynamite Fighter Fest, Night 2. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you tomorrow. All right, if you're still watching on Twitch,